talk a little bit about another product of Web3, which are NFTs. And I think when people hear that word, they think of young people, probably under 25, that are spending real money on things that don't really have any value, or at least are not perceived to have value. Can you tell us a little bit more about what NFTs are and actually why they do have value?
Right. So NFTs are non-fungible, which means they are one of one. There is no other token that is the same as that NFT that you have. And the biggest use of NFTs really is proof of ownership, right? They're the ultimate digital receipt. So when they first started using NFTs, it was really to represent PFPs, personal profile pictures, different artwork, and trying to sell them as one of one. But unless you're getting the physical art mailed to you, really you're just getting a proof of ownership of that art instead. And so this is actually really good for things like IP ownership and settling that. And eventually, of course, you can have that NFT represent anything that you actually own, whether that's a deed to a house, your car title, anything in the real world. But to your point, we started with just people creating these NFT collections and having them represent different artwork, and it was more about just driving the value of those NFTs through trading and utility, and all of the marketing was revolved around just how much these NFTs can get you in terms of returns over time. But there's a lot more of the NFTs than that.
So to be clear, an NFT is like a certificate of authenticity, and what it's really doing is sort of reserving your right in one digital copy or in one copy of a digital product or a physical product in the real world, but it doesn't really give you title to the original product. So for example, digital assets are highly reproducible, right? So if I download a picture from Google right now, there could be 1,000 versions of that picture saved on 1,000 different computers. What an NFT is doing is we're sort of reserving my right in one copy of that picture.
Right. And what I tell people is, if you're buying an NFT or you're buying into an NFT collection, if that NFT collection is not giving you any IP ownership, then there's not much of a point to actually buy that NFT. You're not really, it's like almost an empty receipt, so to speak. They're not really giving you anything, and you're just simply at that point hoping to flip it for more money. But it's all about something that has to be associated with that does give you that proof of ownership. And so CryptoPunks, for example, like, they have a contract associated with their NFT collection that clearly states all the IP rights that you own by owning a CryptoPunk. Same with Nakamigos as well, which is the more recent NFT collection. And so these are more valuable and will really embody what the power of NFTs really are in terms of just having some provable ownership. But they need some teeth to them, right? They need the actual like IP contract agreement tied to them. So
And NFTs have the power to create value, right? So we both come from the music world, and I think there's an artist, an EDM artist, 3Lau, who gets millions of streams per month on Spotify. But I think he was able to issue an NFT for one of his albums which was purchased for $3 million by a listener. So NFTs also have the power to create investment, right, by an audience or a group of listeners or a group of fans in someone that they are essentially interested in or invested in emotionally and monetarily.
Right. And to your point, royalties are a big deal in terms of NFT utilities. And a lot of artists have been using NFTs to distribute royalties to their fans in exchange for buying these NFTs and supporting that artist up front. And that is a huge utility for 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 music, at least in particular.
And I think that does a good job of explaining the value creation between Web 2 and Web 3, right? So many musicians are out there getting millions of streams a month on Spotify or Apple, and really that doesn't reflect the true value of what they've created and put out there in the world. Unless you're a Taylor Swift or a Drake, you need tens of millions of streams to really turn true revenue in the music world, at least. Whereas NFTs are giving mid-level artists and below an opportunity to also create economic value for the art that they're creating.